Good morning, social studies families. Here we are on another Friday with our weekly video update, so you can kind of see what we have been doing in social studies this week and what we're planning to do next week. You can see on the screen here, this is the week we are currently ending with Friday the 17th. We didn't quite get finished with everything in this week as we are kind of wont to do. It usually takes us a little longer than my plans kind of give, but we have started our unit on social structures. So we've been talking about the Egyptian social structures and the pyramid from the pharaoh all the way down to enslaved people. We did a couple of days working with the Egyptian social structure and did a graded assignment, which kids did really well on. Then we started the Roman social structure, and that was basically yesterday we got started on that, so we're kind of a little bit of a day behind on that. So we started talking about the Roman social structure, which talked about the patricians versus the plebeians. We introduced the freedmen in the Roman society, and also enslaved people, the emperors at the top. When we got to the empire, we were talking about the Roman social structures, and we're going to continue that today. So we're really here over here. So the Japanese social structure and the caste system is going to push into next week. So next week is going to look like this, but probably not. So a couple of things. So you can see I've got a Japanese social structure on Monday, which includes talking about samurai. And so we're going to talk about the social structure of Japan from emperor down to shogun, down to the daimyo, down to all the way down to the merchant class at the bottom, which is interesting in the Japanese culture. That will probably not take us one day. That will probably take us a couple of days. So I'm going to guess that everything's going to push down this way. So something to keep in mind. There will probably be some days in between these assignments. We also are going to talk about the caste system in ancient India, which we've talked a little bit about back in our unit on religion. We talked about how that was a piece of Hinduism in the early parts of it. So they have some familiarity with the Brahmin and the Kshatriya and the different castes that they were kind of born into, but we're going to review that. Both of those assignments have graded assignments that go with them. It looks like it's back to back, but it probably will be spread out, so not something where they're just going to get back to back to back to back to back grades. Then we start our kind of project at the end of this unit. It's not our end of unit assignment. It's the social structures dinner party, which we're going to talk a little bit about like this. But it's going to be a couple of days of research and then the actual dinner party. And probably the dinner party is not going to come until the week after that, which is going to be totally fine. So if you just take a look quickly here, this is how the dinner party kind of works. Students will be assigned a role within one of the four social structures that we've talked about. So they're either going to be a Roman, or they're going to be from India, or they're going to be from Japan, or they're going to be from Egypt. And they'll kind of pull a random role out of a hat. And then they'll do some research around that. Some of the stuff they'll know, some of it they'll have to do a little digging. You see we're going to use Britannica, which is our online encyclopedia. We're going to use our Orange textbook, which was an in-class resource. They can use the web a little bit if they need to, but most of it that they need will be in those resources and just their knowledge from what we've done in class. So they talk about the yellow pieces, the civilization that they're assigned, what's it like there. Then the green piece is a little bit about the role. How are you treated? How do you treat others, depending on if you're in the higher part of the role or the lower part. And then the pink part is a little bit about what your life is like, how you're feeling. Are you happy? Are you sad? Is it a good life? Is it not so good life? Do you dream of a better life? That kind of stuff. They answer these questions here, and then they use that to write what we call a bio poem. And what that means is they're just going to tell a story, and it has to be in the first person, so they're taking on that role. So I wrote one from the point of view of the shogun, and you use the word I. And so you're kind of embodying that person, and you write a little story. It's not a poem that rhymes type of thing. It's basically a narrative poem where you basically are telling a little bit of a story, and it just doesn't have to be very long. It just has to cover those pieces in the research. So it has to have the yellow, the green, and the pink. That's kind of what you were looking for, those three pieces. And if they do that, that'll be great. And then at the dinner party, they come in with their bio poem. And we sit at tables, and they're all mixed up. So there's Egyptians sitting with Japanese, and there might be high-class people sitting with low-caste people, and so that's what they do. And then they share their poems with each other, and they read their poems to each other. And during that dinner party, we're going to have little snacks, which I'm going to ask you for some help with a little bit later. So that's kind of what's happening. And then we'll do our end-of-unit check. So that's all going to be the week after that is where that's getting going. Just really quickly, grade-wise, we currently have 3 grades in the grade book. They are the gold and salt trade questions, which came before our end of unit check on economics, which was really good. The economics gold End of unit check went well. So talk to your kids about that if they haven't. And then the social structures vocabulary pre-assessment is not in the grade book, but it was a graded assignment. They know how they did on the pre-assessment, and then on the post-assessment, hopefully they'll do better. Neither of those are graded assignments, but I did want to kind of have them see how they did at the beginning of the unit versus how they'll do at the end of the unit. And then, of course, there's the Egyptian social structure video questions, which we did earlier in the week, and I did have a couple of kids that missed that. They didn't finish it. We did it in class, and for some reason they didn't get it finished. And so if you would double check with your kid about 3 grades in the grade book right now, if they've got a 0 in something, please have them help get that turned in so that I can update the grade book and get those grades back up to where they were at the beginning of the unit, which was very, very good. Okay, so that's what we are doing. That's what we will be doing. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week.